Our next speaker is a Westerville City School graduate, a current curriculum coordinator in our district, a passionate educator who believes in pushing students to reach for their dreams. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Kenton Lee.
Thank you. Tonight, I've learned that innovation requires collaboration and trust. It requires inspiration and passion. I've heard exhilarating examples of what innovation is and why innovation is needed. But where, as a parent and as an educator, can I find innovation? Throughout childhood, most of us say, I'm not going to be like my parents. I'm going to be different. And I'm going to let my kids do what they want. Most of us know how this ends up, right? Somewhere along the line, different and do what you want changes to, oh my gosh, I sound exactly like my parents. I came across an article recently that got me thinking about different and do what, let me see here. Can someone move the article over, if possible? Thank you, JD. Came across an article recently that got me thinking about different and do whatever you want. And most importantly, it got me thinking about how, as a parent, I can nurture and encourage an innovative spirit and mind among my two daughters. And the article is entitled, Miami's Digital Game Design Program, Among Nation's Best, Liberal Arts of the 21st Century. The article's, it's a great article. It talks about how Miami was ranked in their program was ranked in the top 30 in 2012 by the Princeton Review. It talks about how professors talk about liberal arts being this idea of game design being the liberal arts of the 21st century, and that it includes philosophy, business, art, history. It incorporates all of these different ideas. And after I read the article, I had two thoughts. The first one was, okay, where was this program when I was in school? Because I'm pretty sure that the amount of time my roommates and I spent, we could have graduated in 3 years with this program. Pretty sure. The second thought was about a conversation, a future conversation that I might have with my daughter when she is of the age where she is going to choose her college. And the conversation in my head went something like this. Daddy, I know what school I'm going to. That's great, honey. What'd you decide? What'd you pick? I'm going to Miami University. Great. You'll love Oxford. It's going to be the best 4 years of your life. You're going to love it. What are you thinking about majoring in? Have you given that any thought? What are you majoring in? I'm majoring in video game design. No. Whoa, no, you're not. No, you're not. Jade, you can go to the next slide. The PowerPoint, sorry. And that no was an instinct. It was a no that got me thinking, why would I respond this way? Why would I say no? And I even had follow-up questions to my no. What are you going to do with that? Where is your data? What's the starting salary going to be? How many businesses recognize this major? How many people do you know have a degree in integrated game design? What happens if the video game market crashes? Then what are you going to do? What about something like law or medicine or teaching or architecture or engineering? And I guess what I want to ask is, what would you guys do? Would you be like me and your first instinct be, a no with 8 follow-up no's? No, you guys aren't like that, because I have the privilege of knowing a lot of you in the audience tonight, and thankfully I know that your instinct would not be like mine. You would have said yes, you would have said, that's great, you would have said, how can I help and what can we do? It's not that you let your children do whatever they want. That's not the right phrasing. Your instinct would be to let your student follow their dreams and their passions. And so we go back to this question. As a parent, where's innovation? Maybe innovation is outside of our comfort zone. And so it got me thinking about another perspective, and that's the educator perspective. They say that an idea or an issue becomes important, more relevant, more meaningful when it touches home. Well, for me, being a parent and an educator, that's home for me. So the other way I looked at this question, where's innovation, is from an educator's point of view. I'm going to show you a little clip that actually started from a parent perspective, but quickly switched to an educator's perspective. And JD, if you could help me frame this a little bit, that would be great. Scroll down, you can hit. Okay, so she gets her dancing ability and her singing ability from my side of the family. So, like Emma, we know in Westerville and around the world, 5-year-olds are creating, designing, wondering, imagining, and asking. And like Emma, we know 5-year-olds love animals, nature, science, dance, swimming, and of course, technology. There's nothing like a student coming up to you and exclaiming, Mr. Harris, Mr. Spinner, Mr. Carr, Mr. Baker, look at what I did. That's what we know as educators, that enthusiasm. But at the same time, as we reflect on what has been discussed tonight, maybe what we know is not enough. There are questions, these are questions that most of us have only started asking. Questions like, as educators, how do we encourage, harness, and facilitate these passions and skills around standards and accountability measures and design an education that is relevant, rigorous, and engaging. An education where content is shaped collaboratively and ownership is shifted from teacher to student. An education that encompasses ideas that we ourselves have not studied or resources that we ourselves have not even used. An education that takes part of what we know and merges it with the unfamiliar, the uncontrolled, the unknown. That's scary. And what's even scarier is that these are questions that cannot be answered with a manual or a book or a set of numbers. No. The answers to these questions lie in our ability and motivation to create, design, imagine. They lie in our ability to innovate. And so as educators, where's innovation? Innovation is hiding between what we know and what could be. In order to find these scary yet very real and relevant questions, in order to find answers to these scary yet very real and relevant questions, we cannot discard or dismiss what we know and our collective experiences. They are essential starting points to this journey. At the same time, as educators, we must be willing to peer into the unknown. Think about what could be and have the courage to try what has maybe never been tried before. Between these two ideas, between what we know and what could be, is where we as educators can find answers. It's where we as educators can find innovation. Where's innovation? As a community, perhaps the answer to this question lies on a point of convergence between the parent and educator perspectives that we just talked about. One final story. In the 1960s, a challenge was issued to Americans. We will reach the moon by the end of the decade. A grand vision that had never been done before. Dreamed about, yes. Done, no. It was a vision that captured the dreams, imaginations, passions of a country of generations. It was a vision that spanned backgrounds, interests, gender, age. It was a vision that when first issued, for most people fell into a category impossible. But you know what? It was done. The reason why I tell this story is because I believe that Westerville can create its own moon vision for students, for education. One that is inclusive to all, sustainable, and innovative. If we could step outside of our comfort zone and look between what we know and what could be, we as a community can move forward beyond the impossible and towards a grander vision, towards innovation. Let's find it together. Thank you.